I would like to welcome everyone who has joined. Uh, we are going to be holding this webinar with valuable guests, actually. So we have Lauren Filanenko. We have Rajinder Kumar, and we have Saad Hassan from US Mobile. I am the CEO of Call Center Studio, and Lauren is the former CEO of Genesis, and he's currently on our advisory board for almost 2 years now. And what we want to do is there has been some really interesting and disruptive changes in the AI space, and we have been adapting them to our own product, which is a CCaaS solution for the last year. And the recent months have been really very exciting. So US Mobile is one of the customers who has been, I can say, adapting the most. So I want to thank the professionals from US Mobile to take the chance to share their experiences. So that's the topic of today. So if you can please briefly introduce yourselves, then we can continue. Lauren, can you go first?
My pleasure. So first, Cenk, thank you for having me on this webinar. Thank you to Hassan and Rajinder for joining as well and partnering with us. It's one thing when you have vendors doing webinars, but it's so more powerful and so much real life when you have users like yourself day in and day out in the operations that talk about what your business is and what you need to do and how you do it. So on behalf of Cenk as well, thank you again for being there. Myself, I fell in the contact center swimming pool, if you wish, many years ago, and I never managed to get out. It's a space which is incredibly interesting. I started with Genesis many years ago. I was running the company at some point. It was a lot of fun, in the early 2000s, and then moved to Cisco, Avaya, etc. But the point is, the space has evolved dramatically, as we all know. So first of all came, multi-channel. All those interactions, email became a sort of a table stakes channel, and then chat appeared, and on and on. And then came cloud, which changed a lot of things for a lot of company. And then today comes AI, which is another incredible shift in the industry. It's very early days. A lot of paint is still very wet, so be careful when you touch the wall. But this is really a fascinating time to be in the customer experience and contact center space. So looking forward to the conversation.
So I'll go next. So I'm Saad. Thank you for the introduction, Laura. It's a pleasure to meet you guys. I'm Saad. I'm senior manager product experience at US Mobile. I used to lead support back in Pakistan. We have around 400 people working in just US Mobile support. I've now moved over to New York to lead strategy here. So yeah, we're generally very focused on AI. Back when we started support, we started with around 30 to 35 people. And now as we scaled and as we exponentially grew, we started to realize that AI is really the way forward. So definitely looking forward to have a conversation with you guys on this.
So my name is Rajinder, and again, Thank you, Laurent and Cheng, for inviting us, and thank you for everyone joining. Hope you guys are having a good day, or depending on where you are, hope you had a good day. So, like Saad, I've been part of US Mobile for about 2 years now. Previously was a operations lead at TRG, Pakistan's largest outsourcing company. And right now, just like Saad, I've been stepping into his shoes. I currently lead the customer and product experience lead team in calls, especially calls. And yeah, my day to day is just, looking at customer experience, leveraging AI where we can in terms of our product implementation and making sure, our customers are having the best of us and getting our, 100% at all times.
Great. So, so what will be the agenda today? Is I want to go over a short demo and try to give the audience of the feeling of what we have built actually, and then I would ask Laurent to have some comments because he has been with us while we were bringing this up, and combine with his experience. And then what we can do is to turn back to the US Mobile and what were your experience, because you were a part of the development team, I can say, and the product team, and very actually powerful insights. And then we will try to have a Q&A session towards the end. I'll try to make it like 15 minutes or more, because I think that's the most effective part of a webinar. So what I will do is I will share this document, and then try to tell you, well, first of all, a bit about Call Center Studio. So just one slide. So currently we have around 25,000 seats. We are a CCaaS solution. We are in currently 63 countries, more than 700 customers. And this is a multi-tenant single instance solutions. And we have operational hubs in Chicago, Bucharest, Manila, and Istanbul, Turkey. So, and today is, we're going to be focusing on just one of the AI features that we have. But going back, so these are the basic AI features that we currently have on the platform. So we have Agent Assist, CX Insight, accent neutralization, AI avatar and chatbots, and AI chat suggestions. So these are the basic modules we have. So when we go to the CX Insights, which actually was able, I think, almost 7 weeks ago, or maybe 6 weeks ago, after we launched the product, the CX Insights actually analyzes the operation in a contact center and brings you insights. So this is the basic screen, how it looks. So here you can see there is the time period that you want the report on. And at this example, it is like 16,475 calls have been analyzed, and it automatically generates the categories, and it calculates the solutions provided. Here you can see 47.5%, and it gives a sentiment of the positive ones which seems low, but actually we disregard the negative and neutral one. So this is another indication that we have. And on the bottom left, you can see the categories that it generates. And then you have a category cloud where you have a visual representation of the categories. And also on top, you have the timeline of the different variables that you can see. And then there is also the time series view of how the categories, the sentiment, and the solution rates are distributed. And if you click uh, uh, the right, the upper right button, which says Insights, you really have some insights about the operation. So there is an overview, as you can see, and then there is some critical findings which is telling you how to proceed, or what happens in the categories and your call center in an overall aspect. So this is quite powerful. When we first come up with this, we thought that it was generating the same things, but now we have 54 tenants who are actually using this in a very short time, ranging from logistics companies to healthcare to e-commerce, telco, and I'm going to be able to tell about very, very interesting cases that this really brings to the insights of when you go deep down in contact center operation. So when you drill down the categories, so this is an example of the subcategories of the billing category. And when you look at the subcategories, you can choose one of them. Let's say this one is for refund. And then you can go. We blurred the sensitive information in this sheet, but here you can see that you can have the details of the callers, the called person, the queue, the call type, agent name, recording, solution provided or not. The red ones are the ones that the AI has evaluated as, no solution was provided in this call. And the categories and the sentiment. And again, the sentiment could be positive, negative, or neutral. So in essence, when you have a negative solution and a negative sentiment, that is probably a problematic call within the contact center. So because this is refund, of course, you have, as you can see, lots of negative sentiments in the call. And when you click to that call, by the way, when you see the upper part of the screen, there are lots of filters and opportunities for you to go and, for example, string search for all the conversations that are being going on within that contact center. And here, when you see that, okay, the second one from top is both negative in terms of solution and sentiment. When you click it, you can listen to the recording, and you can actually have, or let me say, validate the insight that AI has been providing to you. So, and when you go further down, you can even have the solution rates of individual agents, which is very powerful, so that you can have an understanding of, especially if you look at in a wide range of time, it gives you an idea of the skill set or the performance of the individual agents. And the second one is AI custom reporting. This is very new, and this has been based off the know-how, and I can say a little bit of the consulting flavor that we are bringing, apart from being a vendor, is that this gives you a report, AI generated report about what is going on in your contact center, and it is around 30 pages, so it is really deep report, and it is customized on various, I would say, the sector or the industry that you're in. And what does it do is it processes large data sets to reveal KPIs like call volume, handling times, and service levels. And it even suggests actionable insights, like it identifies trends, bottlenecks, and provide tailored recommendations. And it also adapts to specific periods of operational needs, categorizing and addressing issues effectively. And what does it mean for the managers? So this is a tool which you can have a deeper insights of your operations, and you have the I would say the capability or the ability to touch on the efficiency, service quality, and cost savings on whole your operation. And also, like, it identifies peak hours, understaffing issues, service bottlenecks, and it recommends, you should increase your workforce here or adapt this strategy to handle the peak hours, etc. So this is the second AI generated version. So I want to stop here and turn to Lauren, as I can say, being a team member when we came up with these new gadgets, if I may say.
Yeah. Gadget doesn't really pay service to what it is. It's actually fairly powerful. I, I will just add a little bit of context, because everybody is talking about AI, and questions that I really hear from practitioners and customers are, how do we go about it? Because everybody wants to go there, and right now, let's face it, a lot of AI projects do not work. So why and how can we avoid that? And I think there are two or three things that we can think about. One is, start small. Try to deliver projects which are in nature, with a limited scope, both in time and functionality. So go with something which you can do in a few weeks. Don't start with, I'm going to boil the ocean and do a full digital transformation of everything. That's a recipe for disaster. So try to delineate a project where it is tractable, it's small enough so that you can learn, and that you can do with your competency. Number two, you need to have a team of people who know what it is about. So it's like anything. We give you, it's a powerful tool, but if you don't know how it works, you can do some damage, or and you can lose time and money. So that's not very good when that happens. So look at, how do you invest in training your people so you can have the right dialogue with the vendors, and you can understand what's going on a little bit behind the scenes to appreciate the results. And third is, it's not just about technology. It's not just about doing cool things. It's about change. So you want to use AI because you want to deliver better results, because you want to change. And that means you need to look at a process in your company, and what do you want that process to evolve to? What do you want it to be in its future state? So you need to think about those three things. What do I want to achieve from a business process and KPIs point of view? What matters to me? Is that more CSAT, or is that handling time, or is that abandonment of calls, or is that repeat callers, or is that no transfers? There is no right or wrong answer. It depends on what your process is and what you want to achieve. Second, make sure you have a team who can do that. Don't 100% delegate outside, because you won't be in control, and that's not good either. And then start with something which is tractable and that you can figure out in a few weeks or 2-3 months. But don't try to do a multi-year project from the get-go. Learn about it, get familiar with it, and then move to the next thing. The last point I will mention is data are a reason why projects do not go well, because you don't have enough data to feed the AI so the AI can produce interesting results. In what Zheng showed you, that is not a problem, because the data are all the conversations, everything that customers and agents say. That is a huge amount of data, which usually is not processed or not looked at. When you have QA done by coaches or supervisors, they listen to 1 or 2% of the calls. So which means 98% goes unnoticed. You don't know what's going on. Now, all of a sudden, you can address all those data and understand the semantics and what does it really mean. And sometimes you find stuff that you didn't anticipate and which is counterintuitive. So in the case of what we're discussing right now, the data are there. It's more, how do you address that huge amount of unstructured data to make sense of where it's going. And if you run a call center, you want to understand what does work. What are the things that my agents do which produce good results? Identify those things and then repeat those things. So that is what Zheng and his team want to help you do.
Yeah, and so thank you so much, Laurent, for the deep insights, for the CX insights. So who would like to go first, Rajinder or Hassan?
Yeah, I'll go first. So
Okay.
we had a lot of material to talk about, particularly with CCS partnership with US Mobile. So I'm going to go over all of those challenges that we faced in our call center, whereas Rajinder can then figure out. Rajinder can brief you guys on how we've implemented CCS AI to reduce those solutions, right? So just a brief overview of what US Mobile is. US Mobile is an MVNO operating mainly in the US. So an MVNO, by definition, is we are resellers of major carriers in the US. So in the US, the network industry is mainly based off Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. We take all of those services and then we resell it based on different prices, different marketing techniques, different features, and all that, right? But what really makes us unique is the type of customer support and the type of features that we offer. Well, since this is a CCS related call, I'll mainly talk about our customer service. US Mobile's customer service is in the network industry in the US is the best in terms of offering solutions, in terms of response times, in terms of CSAT, in terms of NPS, all of those metrics, right? I can go on and about. But what really, what the challenges that we've really faced and how to maintain those metrics and how to maintain 30 seconds of answer rate and how to maintain a 98% CSAT while we exponentially grow. And that's where we really started to struggle when we started to market and we started to go nationwide. So I'll just give you a brief example of 2 months back, 2 to 3 months back, when we first stepped into the marketing field. So we went on with a campaign targeted to a specific community, and we went viral in that community. Overnight, we had a call volume of that tripled in terms of week over week increase, right? So I called a whole hands-on meeting for the entire team to figure out how do we deal with 100 calls at a time when we were normally dealing with 30 or 40 at a time. And that's when we started to realize, oh, the problem is not in technically bumping up the number of resources that we have. We can't obviously go from 100 to 200 people overnight. What we need to do is we need to efficiently utilize our partners and efficiently figure out the solutions to it. And that's when we started to figure out on how AI solutions can really help us. Do we take specific keywords, separate that queue into a different queue, and then use that queue to diverse all of that marketing campaign, and then have the existing customers who are coming in with service issues, who are coming in with problems related to billing, to a separate queue. So the way we work is that we prioritize differently. If, let's say, we're marketing a promotion, we would want those people to come in bulk, but we would also not have SLAs of answering them within 30 seconds. But when you're a cellular provider, your priority is to address those issues which customers face when calling in, calling out, using data, right? So anybody can be calling in 911 and they're unable to reach it, and we have to figure out on how to resolve that. And since 911 is an emergency service, we really need to figure that out at the top of the priority. So we had to make a funnel. We had to create a solution where we would prioritize those customers coming in with service beforehand and give them a response time which is less than 20 seconds, less than 30 seconds. But customers who are coming in bulk because of our marketing campaign can then go into a separate queue that will have a different team altogether to it. Similarly, when we had long queues, obviously, then we had the difficulty of having longer wait times where customers had to wait 10 minutes, 12 minutes to get an answer. And that's when we started to use the callback features, figuring out what customers want, figuring out what times are customers coming in. And that's when we normally use CCS reports to figure out, so 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. is a time when the New York State is most alive, but 7 to 8 is when Central Ohio is most alive. So do we want to have that differentiation or not? So we ended up with a custom scheduling model. We ended up with a very robust kind of queue allotment with CCS, where we were able to leverage the capabilities of CCS in figuring out which customers to address first and which customers to address at a later priority in time. And when we look at load, we're not just looking at also customer comes in, they ask a query, and then they go back after 5 or 10 minutes, right? We also have to figure out at what times are we getting the longest calls. So what we've realized is anybody who calls in the morning, Pakistani morning, they're normally coming in with troubleshooting issues, normally things that will take 20 to 30 minutes of our time, right? Whereas if somebody's calling in during peak hours, they're normally coming in with similar issues like billing issues, like, I can't get my service to work, but I had service 2 minutes back. Issues where I can send a text to one person, but I can send it to another person. Now, these type of issues normally don't take that long. So figuring out on how to have resource allocation based on keywords, based on resolution times, based on certain tags that CCS helped us apply, has gone a long way in optimizing efficiency. So we're not just using Erlang formulas. We're not just using we're not just using the maximum call limit to figure out how we really want to make our process efficient. We're also using tags. We're also using AI keywords. We're also using resolution times to maximize our occupancy and overall increasing our efficiency by a margin. So whereas you would need 200 to 300 agents to handle 60 to 70,000 calls, we're able to do it with 110 agents. That was one of our breakthroughs, and that was one of our big mind-blowing moments. Oh, we can really go on doing this. One particular aspect that I was discussing with Raj in 10 minutes back as well, like before the meeting, was how CCS really helped us with our product. So naturally, so I just like take a second to introduce US Mobile's uniqueness, is that we are the only carrier in the US that supports services from all three major carriers. So that's AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. I'm not supposed to say that out loud, but so since we're the only one who've integrated all three, we our agents, our PEAs, we call them PEAs, have a ton of knowledge base to go through, a ton of material to figure out, oh, this error can be a result of this integration, that integration, this integration. I mean, I've been in the company for 3.5 years, but I don't even know all of the errors right now. And based on the keywords, based on reports, based on particular agent performance, based on how CCS has been able to help us do QA, we've been able to build a robust help doc, or what we call it, a help guide, where every error is now error coded. And we've linked it, right now it's manually, but we've linked it in a manner where keywords from CCS, tags from CCS can help us redirect agents to those specific guides. And that's really help us avoid people taking 10 to 15 minutes on specific query, whereas they're able to do it in less than 5. Yeah.
Great.
Very,
Great.
very impressive.
Yeah.
Raj, do you want to talk about on how we've implemented CCS, particularly in reducing handle time and optimizing our experience?
Yeah. Just to gloss over the challenges that Saad presented, right? When we're talking about being a unicorn industry, in the industry, we're talking about having problems that pretty much no one else faces, right? Taking all the three carriers, like the largest three carriers in the US, and then jumbling it up in a single service package brings its own unique challenges, So we've actually used, taking a sidestep from what Saad said, we've used CCS for our load balancing, our time management when it comes to queues and our resources. I simply want to talk about two specific things that have been like our biggest achievements, or especially my biggest achievements in this company has been making a very efficient and robust quality assurance model based on CX insights, and the second one being that upping our game when it comes to collecting data points for calls specifically. Talking about our quality assurance, so we have currently, to just gloss over it, we've got a team of 17 people evaluating conversations manually, right? Before CX Insights, we had that 17 people who would go through or gloss over through 3,500 conversations a month. That's a lot of manual work, right? Where we're talking about scaling and combing through conversations manually, looking through them, trying to understand where we stand out in each category of conversation was a challenge. So we implemented CX Insights, and we streamlined our approach based on what Cheng showed when it comes to solution rate, customer sentiment, the type of queries we're getting. We kind of narrowed it down to our biggest pain points, the concerns we're getting on a regular basis that have been challenging for our customer base, and we honed down on those categories, the most frequent ones, the most problematic ones, and we created a very robust training model on how to combat that. We also brought in, specific agent guidelines based on those suggestions, or based on those models that were given to us by AI. And I need to just point this out, one thing, that speech analytics in itself can be erroneous, right? But we've had this tremendous experience with CCS that it's pretty much been rock spot on, right? We're talking about accuracy rate of more than 95%, which I truly think is kind of unheard in this industry, but I think Laurent would know more about that. The second thing that we've been really happy about, and something that we've really been happy to accomplish, or it's one of our biggest achievements, is implementing those, taking those data sets, right? The type of conversations we're getting, the times we're getting them at, the type of customers we're dealing, and their biggest concerns, or I would say. So, for example, if US is a very hurricane-prone place, right? We're talking about frequent natural issues or natural disasters that disrupt cell services. And waiting on our partners to inform that to us was another big challenge, right? When we're talking about, especially summertime, when we're talking about multiple hurricanes hitting multiple areas, we're talking about hours and hours of feedback loops when we get to know that there's an ongoing problem. But now with CX Insights, all we need to do is, hey, our call load volume is up. You know what we do? We just go into it, quickly sum up the keywords, look up for what we're getting the most calls for, and boom, there you have it. You know there's an ongoing problem, and you know you need to fix it. Voicemail notification was one of our pressing concerns a month ago that we really fixed. Me and Saad and the product team really sat down to it and figured out, hey, this is a pressing problem and we need to fix it. So, we're talking about trends, we're talking about analytics. We bunched it all up, we created reports, we worked on it. So these would be the two biggest highlights for us. And I am pretty positive, working with the CCS team, it's not just about the solution, right? It's not about the software itself, it's the solution behind it. I'll just give out a shout out to Fardeen, a shout out to Ramsey, people from CCS, who've been really amazing, and their responses to us, and their overall general support and their attitude to get shit done is just it's impeccable, and it's something that we all really love at US Mobile.
Yeah, it's a really honor to hear this. So I'll take it to Fardeen and Ramsey. Thank you for that, Raj. So so Laurent, do you have any comments before we move on to the Q&A? Because I see that some questions has already been arriving.
No, the comments I would have, first of all, I think what US Mobile has done in a short period of time is really impressive. I mean, when you look at the KPIs, on the occupancy, that's an almost 50% improvement in productivity, which is truly incredible. And of course, if you're a contact center vendor, it's always been like that, So you say my stuff is more productive. You are going to need less agents, but you hope the customer is still going to use a lot of agents. But in that case, you really help the customer. So that's really terrific to see. But it's also it says a lot to the maturity of US Mobile in understanding the process, dissecting the operation, and really making sense of it, and getting deep into the details, because you cannot do that if you don't really go the full way. Second, about the accuracy, it's an impressive number. So, and that is something to think about AI today. Because it's a machine, we tend to be uncomfortable with errors, and so we want 100% accuracy. Otherwise, we say, what if there is something which is inaccurate? So, first of all, in general, calls into contact centers of commercial nature are not a matter of life or death. So, if you have a medical emergency line, you want to be careful. Obviously, if it's commercial, 1% of the time you have something which is not right. Is that a manageable risk? And people tend to be a little bit too focused on the risk versus the benefits. Number one. Number two, people make mistakes too. And so is AI making more mistakes than people? In the case of QA, that's very arguable. Probably not on average. So that notion of accuracy, it's you need to put it in context, and 95%, it's already a fairly interesting number, I would say.
Yeah.
Because you could say, you have you have 5% of calls which are maybe not very well analyzed. Okay. So you've analyzed 95% of the calls correctly, which still is 93% more than what the team of people could do. So that's a massive benefit.
Yeah. Well, I have so many lessons coming from our customers who started using this, but I don't want to take much time. I can just give one example, which actually really surprised me, is that this is a customer of ours almost for 7 years. They're in the healthcare sector, and you have seen the category maps, right? So if it's more, you have a bigger font on the screen. So usually, if you are like logistics, you see the deliverables. If you are healthcare, you get the appointment. And if you're a support team, you got the I don't know, technical problem on the category map. And suddenly one morning they started getting wrong number as a category, and it became the major category. So, and when they deep dived, as I did show you in the beginning, and listen to the calls, it turned out that their marketing team started a campaign against their competitors on Google AdWords. And the people who wanted to call their competitors started calling their number. And the agents started responding, wrong number, wrong number. And after realizing this, they started calling them back, and they started, turning this into a revenue. And we were discussing the other day that, it would be very difficult to get some kind of insights, if they wouldn't see the big wrong number in the category. So, but I suggest that we move. We have about 15 minutes, and we move to the Q&A. And so, if Baransal can help us out, how do we take the Q&A? Is the joiners able to see in their screen, or can we pick these up? Let me start by the first question from Adele. The question is how we can connect the AI with the current system. So it is easy. If you are a CCS customer, you send us an approval email, and it is on in 2 minutes. If you're not on CCS, it is on the roadmap to integrate other platforms. We will be starting from the big platforms with Genesis and Avaya to have connectors with them. But currently, if you're not using CCS, unfortunately, we can't provide you with these solutions. So the second question is, we are a small BPO with only 10 agents and 3 accounts, and we are currently using multiple channels like Facebook, SMS, email, Telegram, and call call to reach out to our customers. I'm afraid that this integration will be costs us a lot of money. Well, this I can tell you the list price, and there are price. I would say different prices for different volumes, but this starts at $20 per seat per month. So for 10 agents, yeah, 10 agents it's a challenge. The next question is, now we are talking about the data analysis. So that's a comment, I guess. Okay, another one from Rizwan Ashar is, what part AI plays based on CX data to suggest training and L&D of the in-house agents to help them to perform better? Yeah, that's a very important question actually we are focusing on. And maybe I'll take the second part and leave the first part to Lauren. What we are currently doing is, if you may recall, we mentioned about the different performances that is calculated by the AI in terms of solutions. So that's the first part we took. And what we are currently doing is we are trying to analyze the differences between, let's say, two agents, which is performing in terms of bringing solution, let's say, to 80 to 60%. So we are analyzing what does the 80% agent is doing differently than the 60% agent, and what could be the training opportunities that the company should give to the 60%. So we are really a believer of agent support, and to bring in the agents into their maximum performance. So this is why we are using. It is not on the product yet, but the AI lab team is working on it, and it's going to come soon. That we want to give you insights on how you can not just to monitor the KPIs, but how you can develop the agents to become better. The first part, how do we train, is a better question to address with Lauren.
Yeah, take a simple case. So products, situations, market conditions change all the time. And one thing that you want to help your agents with is objections handling. How do you get them to respond productively and non-emotionally to customers' criticism? And so with CX Insight, you can actually detect objections, and you can make a list of objections, and then in your training system, you say, okay, I'm going to look at the top 5 objections that I hear for this particular product line, and I'm going to train my agents on those objections. Then you have the LLD system itself, and many companies have a formal LLD system where they prepare courses and role play and all that. But if you can steer the LLD system to areas that you detect with the analytics and have a closed loop, then it is a very productive way of looking at things.
Yeah.
And then what you want to do, you want to compare performance of agents train and not train. So do a little bit of A/B testing to make sure that your training is effective. And if it's effective, then you apply it to everybody else.
Yeah.
For example, it's just one scenario, but the loop between core analytics and training, it's a super important one.
Yeah. So another question, actually coming from an existing customer. It says, currently we are using CCS. Our clients request the AI to be used in the IVR WhatsApp. Is it available? So we have mainly focused on voice in this webinar because this was the difficult thing to do. And for the other channels like WhatsApp, web chat, email, etc., actually is in the roadmap to be launched in the Q1. The reason for that is since these channels are text-based, it is relatively easy to make a comprehension or to get it on the AI solution. The challenge for us, and I can give you some numbers. Currently, on the CCS platform, 100 million minutes of recording is being made each month. This is a huge data. So we were really skeptical about the voice part, which was, not that visible. So this future is in the roadmap. And there is another question from Sasha. If we want to, I lost it. Yes. If we want to connect Facebook, Instagram comment, and Instagram comment to AI, part will be the same process. Yes, it will have a similar screens that is going to be giving the insights of your, I could say, text-based channels within the system. Another question is, what is the logic or mechanism used behind the sentiment analysis or its results? Well, let me tell you as a non-technical person, then we can turn back to Laurent. But what we do is we first actually, the challenge was to so the second part is we're running it through AI. So the first part, we have been using third parties until 1st of May, where a method that we can be able to do it on our only by the CPU cost, I should say, has arrived. So that was the first part. The second part was to use the AI, the prompt engineering, and different phases on that. And currently, what we are doing for the sentiment analysis is to rely on the text transcript. But the AI team is working on a parallel process where they have different information from the actual voice stream, like the volume of the voice, the tone of the voice recording, these additional, I should say, additional metrics to blend within the text. So currently we are running it through text, but in near future we will be blending the actual I should say other qualities or measures or metrics of the voice itself with the text, which is going to be improving the sentiment analysis as well. If Laurent, you want to add something?
No, very quickly, what you said, Cenk, is exactly right. The way you make those things work is with a multi-layer approach. Because if you just do the voice piece, you don't, just the tone of voice doesn't say everything. Just the text doesn't say everything. So you need to have both. Then you need to have, LLMs below all that, but you need to have prompt engineering and what's called guardrails now to make sure the answer is keeps the right focus, is relevant, is correct, and etc. etc. So it's not just one thing; it's a bunch of things, and that is really the secret sauce. Is how do you make all those things work together well?
Yeah. Yeah, great. So for the sake of time, I'll have just two more questions. By the way, there are questions asking about the pricing. I think we can address them if please contact us after the the webinar, and we'll try to do our best. So so the last two questions is, the one is, currently we are supporting more than one project from our call center using CCS. How can the CX Insight support us to get analyzed data per project? Well, that's a very good question, which allows me to tell that we are basically a BPO solution. So 65% of our current agent base is in BPOs. And so what we have been seeing, especially with I should say, the big names like Teleperformance and Concentrix, is they started launching this product into their internal teams to be able to used by I should say regionally, but to deploy this with us. And in each of them we have more than 50 brands or more in up to 10 countries, 10 different countries. And also let me add that we are currently able to support 90 different languages. And interesting features of AI, like there is our customers from Africa, the usual language, let's say the language of a queue is English, and they switch to Swahili, and the AI also transcribes and analyzes Swahili perfectly, so that then you have Swahili categorized maps on the screen, which is another interesting feature. So yeah, thank you for addressing that question. So there was a question for you, Lauren. I'm trying to find it now. So yeah, that one is for you. What innovations do you foresee in AI-based call center solution in the coming years?
Okay, how many hours do we have?
How many? Yeah, we are almost at the end
Look,
of.
it's
Sorry.
now the point is AI is going to hit the contact center from multiple dimensions. So clearly, what everybody is talking about is all those front end. There was a question, how do you bring AI to the IVR, etc. So how do you make a front end which is intelligent, conversational, and all that? So that is happening. What we've been discussing a lot today is how do you apply AI to agents and make them more productive, number one. Number two, reduce attrition. Everybody who has managed a contact center knows that attrition, it's a big headache. So how can you solve that? And what we heard today is that there are ways to make agents more productive. If they are more productive, they have a better satisfaction in what they are doing, as well. So and so they are less prone to quit. Number one. So the agent stuff, how do you help agents? That's a very, very big theme. And then you have all the routing, which the industry has talked about AI-based routing and things like that. That has not really taken off massively because it's complicated. So I would expect that is going to change in the future. The notion of intent is going to be increasingly more prevalent. From the front end to the agent to the routing. The big question is that everybody asks is, are those innovations going to replace agents? Is there a future for BPOs, for example? Things you hear all the time. And the answer is, well, that question has been in the air for the last 20 years. Everybody thought that email and chat would replace agents. They have not. Voice has continued to be the primary channel. And then you can say, if the voice experience becomes so good that people like calling contact centers, maybe you will see more voice traffic. Who knows? So we are seeing so many new interesting developments in voice that I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes much easier to dialogue by voice with agents. So one thing which is going to happen fairly soon is real-time translation, for example. That's going to enable to facilitate a lot of conversations which are hard right now. So if you have people, they call a call center, they don't really understand well the agent. What do? They just hang up and they call back because they hope they will pick to somebody that they can understand better. That's reality of life. So so many things will help contact centers become better. And if they become better, maybe the reputation of contact centers is going to change, and maybe people will like transacting to companies by voice. Who knows?
Yeah. Interesting view. So, Raj, Saad, we can't thank you enough. So thank you for taking the time and sharing your experiences. And actually, there is a last question for you by Luvan. He's asking, he says, a great webinar, folks. Question for the US mobile folks. Are you currently using accent neutralization? If yes, how is it being perceived by your clients?
We're not using accent neutralization yet. We don't really face challenges where we have to paraphrase certain topics. But if we were to utilize it, I don't think there should be a problem. I think the clients would be really happy if they got to know the information really well heard of, like very clear and crisp, right? So
Yeah. Well, so some of our customers are using in Pakistan and in the Philippines, mainly for the food delivery services they are serving to US, and the response is unbelievable. So it could be, we were thinking with Lauren that maybe this is peculiar to the food ordering process. But if you want to say a few words before we close, Lauren, about accent neutralization, and we can wrap up.
Now, look, it has very broad applicability across industries. Basically, everybody that's been using it has seen the KPIs improve. So, so we could go, if we had a bit more time, through a bit more details, but it's obvious that the technology is helping. And because it's simple to implement, the ROI is right there. So I'm a big believer in that technology.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, thank you for the US Mobile. Thank you, Saad. Thank you, Raj, for your time. And thank you, Lauren, for unbelievable insights. So, and thank you for those who took the time to join. Thanks a lot, and hope to meet in another webinar. So let me actually share the last slide, which includes the link to the presentation just we had. So if you want to download it, this could be oh, it's not there anymore. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
see you later.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Have a good
guys.
one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.